Welcome back to another episode on Anxiety Doesn't Own Me podcast. My name is Emmanuel Isaacson, and I'm an anxiety coach who helps people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'm going to be talking about on this episode is about the importance of being thankful, for being grateful. And this is something that I started to implement in my life because of my anxiety and because of my depression. On top of that I started to implement being more grateful, because I used to focus on everything that was wrong, that everything that I didn't have, the things that I was missing in life. And I used to compare myself a lot to other people and the qualities that they have, or the personality that they have, the stuff that they had, the family that they had. And I never really focused on the things that I did have. And whenever I made that shift, it kind of helped me. It helped me tremendously. And I have this notebook. I remember we did this 30-day challenge with my followers on Instagram. We did a 30-day challenge, and every single day we would write 5 things that we're grateful for, 5 to 10 things. And even before this challenge, years ago, I had this notebook that I would write down every single day, things that I am grateful for. And every single day I would sit there and I would think about things that I'm grateful for. And what was amazing is that my focus started to change. I started to be more grateful of what I did have. I started to be more happier, because I stopped focusing on what my struggles were in life. I stopped focusing on what I didn't have and what I'm missing, and, things that I want that I don't have, and more focusing like, hey, look what I do have. I have my health. That was a big thing for me, because especially after my brother went through, it kind of like even ingrained in me, because a lot of people's like, oh, okay, thank you very much for the health. But no, really, if you really think about it, like, health is so important. If we don't have the health, like right now you're struggling with anxiety, like how much would you pay? What would you do just to be anxiety free? What would you do? So we got to be grateful at least that we have our physical health right now. Yeah, our mental health is not there right now, but that's okay. We're going to get there. But thankfully we have the physical health. If you have a family, say grateful I have a family. Let's look at the times that they were supportive. Let's look at the good within them. Being grateful for the person that you are, being grateful that you have food, that you have a roof, and some people may be struggling financially, but look at the amount that you do have. Be grateful for that. And I know it's not an easy thing to do sometimes. It's not an easy thing because we want certain things and we want our life to be easy. We're tired with the struggle and everything. But think about it this way. It doesn't help us whenever we focus on things that we don't have or things that we want, and the struggles that we're going through just to get out of it, it doesn't really help us at the end of the day. What we could do is change the focus. When we change the focus of how we see things, it will help us tremendously in being much happier. And also can help us to calm down. Because let's say, for example, someone's struggling financially, right? And we can look at it and be grateful, saying, you know what? I may not be closing out my month, or that I may be a little bit in debt, or that, you know what, maybe somebody's not in debt and he's just closing his month, right? They're just closing their month. And we can look at that and say, you know what, gratefully I'm not in debt. And if you are in debt, say, thankfully I'm not so much more in debt. I can be way deeper. Or we can say, you know what, gratefully that I'm grateful for having a house. I'm grateful for having a place to live. I'm grateful for having a bed. I'm grateful to be able to use the bathroom. I'm grateful that I have a hot shower. I'm grateful that I have meals every single day, that I'm able to eat every single day. I'm grateful that I have a car. I'm grateful that I have eyes to see. I'm grateful that I'm able to see things, that I'm able to maneuver life with these amazing eyes, which is amazing that you can see during the day, and then during the nighttime, it kind of is like night vision and you're able to see in the dark. It's an amazing thing. Thankfully that I have the experience to have the summertime. I love the summer because I just love summer. Right now it's winter, but I'm grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for the winter so that I appreciate the summer. I appreciate it and I take full advantage of it. So I'm also appreciative of that. I'm grateful for it so that in the winter time I actually can stay home a little bit and be with the family. We watch nice cozy, I love this, that in the winter time to sit at home after work and everything after a long day and just watching a movie and it's cold outside. It's just something like about it that's so cozy. I can't really explain it, but it's a cozy kind of feeling and it's nice. Thankfully, we have a heater that we're not freezing our asses off. So be grateful for that. Say grateful for that we have the sun. The sun, it keeps us warm. Grateful for having the rain. If we didn't have the rain, we wouldn't have that food. We wouldn't have water. So we're grateful for the things, and there's so much to be grateful for. And this is just a small amount of things that you can be grateful for, that if you really think about it, you'll have more things that you're grateful for than not. But the problem is we're always focusing on what we don't have. We're always focusing on the negative. We're always focusing on what we're missing. That's what we're focusing on. And that isn't really helping us. It's just something we're used to, of course. It's something that we're used to. Now, what I'm about to tell you guys, you might not agree with, and you might think that I'm a little bit crazy, but this is a concept that I learned, I would say about, I think it was like 7 years ago, I would say, or maybe 6, I don't remember exactly. And when I first heard this concept, I had this first initial reaction to it. I think most people, whenever I tell them this, they have the same exact reaction. But the hardest thing and the best thing that you can do to get yourself, to get your mind to working into more of a positive way and being more grateful, is to be grateful for the bad that you have in your life. Is to be grateful for the things that you don't have in your life. Is to be grateful for the things that you're missing in life. Is the things that you should be grateful for, the struggles that you're going through. Whenever I heard that concept, I was like, there's no way in hell I can be grateful for that. Especially whenever I was going through anxiety. Especially, I was thinking about if I went through anxiety and I heard this concept, I would say no way in hell. Because I remember when someone told me to accept my anxiety the way I feel, I was like, no way, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to accept my anxiety. Now, hearing this concept of being grateful for the bad in life, I was like, why would I ever do that? Why would I be grateful for that? And I'll tell you guys something, that sometimes, and even most of the time, the bad that happens in our life actually turns out to be good for us. And I'll give you an example, case in point over here, is that whenever I went through anxiety, I thought this is the worst thing that I ever went through my entire life. I thought that this punishment, I thought it was punishment. And I didn't understand why in the world did I have to go through this. It was one of the worst things that I ever experienced in my life. I was 20 years old, going to college, had friends, everything was going great in my life. And then all of a sudden, this thing disrupted everything and kind of changed my entire trajectory of my life. Because I'll tell you, if I never went through anxiety, if I never went through depression, number one, I would never understand other anxiety strugglers. I wouldn't be here today talking to you guys today in this podcast. I wouldn't be doing my one-on-one sessions and helping and making an impact in people's lives and helping them out. I wouldn't be able to do that because I wouldn't understand what you're going through. I wouldn't understand it whatsoever. And as you see, the only people that go through anxiety can understand other anxiety strugglers. And I believe we're anxiety warriors, by the way, guys. We're not anxiety strugglers. I call ourselves anxiety warriors. Take your worry out and instill warrior. But one of the best things that ever happened to me was my anxiety. It changed who I was. It pushed me to become a better person. It pushed me to grow. It pushed me to change my entire life in how everything and how I was operating and how I was thinking and about what my belief system was, everything like that. And my way of thinking back in the day was not good at all. I see that now. And I'm so grateful that I went through anxiety, that I went through the depression. And I didn't understand it back then. I really didn't. It's until the people that I started to help that I started to understand why I went through it. Why I had to go through such a struggle in life. It's because my mission and purpose was because of what it kind of hatched because of that. Because of the anxiety and because of the depression, it brought me to who I am today. And I'm so happy with who I am today and the things that I'm doing and the work that I'm doing. I never thought in a million years I would do this. So we have to be grateful for the bad, because sometimes the bad, most of the time, that whenever we perceive, because it's our perspective of how we see things, and then what we believe, oh, this is right and this is wrong, and this is good and this is bad, that may be wrong. Because sometimes whenever we perceive something bad happening, it ends up being the best thing. And I'll give you another example. And this is not an easy thing. This is not an easy thing what I'm about to tell you. That I knew one of my teachers in high school, he had a son that was born with, I don't know if he had Down syndrome or not, but I don't remember what kind of, he had something. I think it was Down syndrome, if I'm not mistaken. And my teacher took it really, really hard. And I remember he was speaking about this. And he was saying how hard it was whenever his son was born, that he heard that he was Down syndrome. And he went into depression. My teacher went into depression because he would never expect that in his life. And he didn't like what now? I have to take care of this kid for the rest of my life. And he was explaining this and he was talking about it. And he said that at the time I was so angry at God. He said that, why in the world did you give me this kid? What did I do wrong? Why in the world did I have to go through this thing every single day? And it was a struggle for him every single day. But he said, I remember in his speech, he said that it was one of the best things that ever happened to him in the end. And he was like, my son, if it wasn't for my son, I would not be doing what I am doing today. And you know what he does today? He actually has weekend retreats for parents that have Down syndrome kids or other disabilities, that he actually helps them. And I never thought parents would be able to do it, because it's so hard. It's like, you don't understand how hard it is for a parent, that because of my kid, now I am able to help other parents to see the good in the situation, to see that the beauty in this thing, and the struggle that they're going through, that they're not alone. And I get them out of their depression, out of their situation. And I show them that this is going to be the best thing, and giving up for adoption for this kid is not. And he said, you know how many families I saved that way? He's like, if God never put me that, if I never went through this, how many families would have been broken, and how many parents would have given it to adoption because of this situation? He's like, I saved so many families. So it was one of the best things that ever happened to him. It was hard. It was hard, and he wasn't expecting that. But sometimes we may see, right now, this is so hard. This is such a struggle. I don't understand why, but it's there to build us. It's there to change us. It's there to put us to do things that we may not see, or it may be the best thing. Or, for another example is like whenever they are in a relationship and it doesn't work out, and they break up, who says that's not a good thing for you to happen? I remember in the past relationships that I had, I remember that whenever it didn't work out, I would get really depressed about it. I'd get really down. Again, I wasn't depressed. I was just really down. I was sad about it. And it wasn't until I met my wife that I realized, I'm like, you know what? I am so grateful for the past relationships that didn't work out, because if not, I would never meet my wife. I would never meet this woman. And I'm so grateful that I did. I'm so happy that I did. I can't see myself today with anybody else. It's impossible for me to see it. So the past relationship that didn't work out, what is it, a good thing or a bad thing? At the moment, I saw it as a bad thing, because my perspective is like, oh, I really wanted this, I didn't get it. But in the bigger picture, in the reality, it was one of the best things that actually happened to me. Because again, our perspective of how we see things, our perception of how we see things is sometimes wrong. And that can make us feel really down. It can make us feel really depressed. It can really put us down in the gutter. And if we're able to change the perspective of it, the perception of it, we will be able to start feeling much better. And that's why I say to try to be grateful and saying, you know what? I'm grateful for the bad that's happening to me in my life. I'm grateful that I have anxiety. I'm grateful that I have dizziness. I'm grateful that I'm experiencing all these symptoms and all these thoughts and intrusive thoughts and everything like that. I'm grateful for it. Because at the same time, you're also accepting your anxiety at the same time with this. You are accepting your anxiety. And you said one of the best ways to overcome anxiety is accepting, because you're rewiring the amygdala to show that there's nothing wrong over here. So whenever we are grateful for it, in a way, we're also accepting our feelings that we have, the situation that we're going through. Of course, we're not going to sit there and be that way. We're going to have to get out of it. But at the end of the day, it can be one of the best things that can happen to you. And there's so many other examples out there in life that we may see that something bad happened, but in the end, something really good happened. So we want to be grateful for the good and for the bad, and write down every single day what you're grateful for in your life. Things that, even the smallest thing, it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what, because again, the point is over here to train our brain to think more positively. And whenever we start thinking more positively and seeing the beauty and seeing the good and the things that we do have, it would help us to get out of anxiety and also depression. I hope you and your family enjoy your Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoy your turkey, and have a great day, guys. Take care. If you did like this episode, please click the like button and leave a 5-star review. The reason why I ask is because this way we're able to reach more people. And the more people that we can actually reach, the more people that we can actually help. Because my mission in this world, my purpose, is to help people to overcome and heal their anxiety naturally and show them that it's possible to overcome. Thank you guys. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.